Welcome to Peter Lynch's Greatest Lessons, where I'm highlighting my favorite parts of all the books that he's written. This episode will be your edge over Wall Street. As always, liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell if you haven't done so already is greatly appreciated. And if you're interested, consider joining with the Market Moves Investing Book Summaries link in the description down below. What he's going to be saying is you have qualitative advantages over the people on Wall Street. Fund managers on Wall Street are limited by a lot, and you'll find out in the upcoming video. You have experiences and knowledge that they don't, and you shouldn't be afraid to invest comparing yourself to these people, and that Peter believes in you. Let's watch a short segment on my longer series to explain this lesson. We'll begin with the most important, which is talking about these professional investors and the disadvantages of Wall Street, which Peter Lynch likes to call street leg. Number one of the disadvantages is stocks are attractive only when others buy, and we'll get into why soon. Number two is their reputation is on the line. Number three, the rules and regulations stopping them. Number four, size disadvantages. Number five, when they actually have access to money. And number six, time wasted explaining themselves. Waiting to buy this stock, like every other stock I try to buy. The first of which is stocks attractive only when others buy. Lots of places have large recommended or suggested lists, according to Peter Lynch. However, it's a game of chicken until a big name place starts buying it first. Then it's confirmed as a good choice because others are buying it. Hey, that stock you've talked about is being bought by this big mutual fund. Oh, nice. Now it's recognized as a good choice. I was wondering if I should buy it, but decided to wait and see others buy it first. Because of this, you have an edge over them. As a retail investor, or dumb money, you can be contrarian. Who cares what other people have bought? You are the one making the shots. Our analysts say this stock is terrible. Your analysts are stupid. This stock is amazing. I'm loading up now. Number two of the disadvantages is reputation on the line. These people's jobs are on the line with their reputation on what they say. So it leads to stay with the pack mentality. And the benefits, we'll give an example, where A, they'll go away from the crowd, or B, they stick with the crowd. So A, they go away from the crowd. If they are right, they get a bonus, congratulations, and water cooler talk about how great they are. And if they're wrong, people are questioning them, it leads to insecurity, possible job loss depending on how bad the loss and management's choice. So if they're right, it's all great, but if they're wrong, they'll be packing up their belongings. Then we'll get into scenario 2, where they stay with the crowd. If they are right, it's nothing special, but the job is easier. And if they are wrong, they can say, guess IBM is having a bad year. Sure, it's bad, but if everyone is wrong, it's not like everyone gets fired, or everybody's getting questioned. So if they're right, it's just them doing their job like normal, and if they're wrong, it's just them doing their job like normal. And thus, this leads to your edge, because you don't have a reputation on the line. Because as a member of Dumb Money, your reputation is really low. And trust me, it's a good thing. You don't have to risk your job by picking less known companies. But you might need to reason with your spouse or friends if you even decide to tell them. So I bought some shares of this small company. I think it's going to be big. The company has dipped a lot recently, but I think it will turn around. Haha, you're crazy, James. Get back to work before the boss sees you slacking. Third point is the rules and regulations. Down here on the SEC website, there's the Investment Company Act of 1940, and I clicked this to read it. There's 114 pages, a lot of it's repetitive, but I just went over and tried to find what Peter Lynch talked about in the book for the limitations of the fund managers. And there's a lot more controls being put in place for these guys than there are for you. But what's the one part that Peter wants to point out the most? It's this little section. And more importantly in this little section, it's this little part down here at the bottom. To an amount not greater in value than 5% of the value of the total assets of such management company, and not to more than 10% of the outstanding voting securities of such issuer. Not greater in value than 5% of the value of the total assets. This is saying the maximum exposure to one security is 5% in their portfolio, if they choose to go that high. The rule is in place to help lower risk through forced diversification of assets. We want this to be 15% of our investment holdings, and the SEC just kind of looks at them and says, nope. Another part, the not more than 10% of the outstanding voting securities of such issuer. They can only hold max 10% of the outstanding shares for voting rights. This is to prevent fund managers from gaining controlling portions of companies and ruining things for everyone. We want 51% of this company for controlling voting rights. The SEC will look at them and say, nope. So this is leading to your edge. Do you want to make 20% of your portfolio be one stock? Maybe it's gotten great returns and grew out to be this big naturally in your portfolio without additionally putting money into it. You can do that. Sometimes these people aren't buying the stock because they legally can't buy it. Number 4 is the size disadvantages. Having a lot of money is actually a big problem with investing. When you have billions of dollars, it limits your choices. Imagine $1 billion fund buying a micro-cap stock. Would that do anything to help them? No, not even a little bit. Even if it had explosive returns, it wouldn't even make a fractional percent difference in their portfolio. Being big means limiting your choices to bigger companies. And less choices equals lower chance to find a valuable purchase. Boss, we're running out of places to put our clients' money. But this leads to your edge. I bet most people reading this have less than $10 million, which includes me. To you, buying those small companies does matter to your portfolio. If the stock goes up 20% in a year, those are serious gains to your overall portfolio, and that would never happen with big money. Yo man, that stock tripled in value and made me $10,000. This is crazy. The 5th of the disadvantages is when they have money. These people are using other people's money. So imagine a good market. Everyone's money goes up in the market. It makes people want to put money in, and money being put in when stocks are expensive. I understand we have a lot of money we need to distribute, but everything is expensive now. Oh well, we need to put this money somewhere. Now imagine a bad market. Stocks are dropping, portfolios are dropping, clients want to pull money out, less money to invest when cheaper. Wow, look at all these opportunities to buy. Wait, why is all the money disappearing? And this leads to your edge over them. You choose when you want to buy and sell. Other people aren't determining when you have the money or not in your portfolio. It's all yours, so you can buy when the market is declining. Yes, I can buy the dip with the extra money I placed in a high-yield online savings account waiting for this moment. Lastly, we have time wasted explaining themselves. Bosses and clients want explanations for their choices. Half of their time is spent typing up why they chose to buy it or sell it. That's time that could have been used researching instead. Sure thing, boss. I'll type up that report for you on why this is a strong buy company. It'll take about 5 hours, but that's okay, right? That leads to your edge, because you don't have to explain anything to anyone. It's even easier if you just don't say anything about your purchases, which you can do since it's your money. Now we'll get into discovering your edge. What we previously talked about was disadvantages that smart money had which you didn't have, and they were benefits from avoiding negatives. Now we can get into advantages that dumb money has over these institutions, benefits from obtaining positives. What job does an analyst have? Yeah, analyzing stocks. They have a lot of quantitative data on their side to do this as well. However, it takes quantitative and qualitative data for picking stocks. You have to understand the minds of the people in our business. We all read the same newspapers and magazines and listen to the same economists. We're a very homogeneous lot, quite frankly. They aren't seeing major issues until it's reported in their newspapers or magazines, and they likely don't have as much opinion on the product or service like dumb money does. Another example of their street lag. So yeah, turns out the company's plan to push for cheaper parts made margins go up, but all the consumers hate it so much they stopped buying. If we only knew exactly what qualitative features the customers were looking for, this would be much easier. You, however, are very knowledgeable about a certain field, way more than any analyst could dream of. Ways you have an edge over Wall Street. Number 1 is your job. Number 2 is your hobbies and passions. And number 3, your purchases/services that you use regularly. Let's go into the first one, your job. What items is your company spending a lot of money on? Items that constantly get rebought are a huge plus. And why did your company choose to buy from them? Was it price? Was it easy to use, convenient, the quality? And what specific knowledge have you gained from your job? What's some things you know that most people don't? How can you apply this knowledge with investing? Let's get into the example of the car mechanic. What cars constantly need repairs? What are people's opinions on their cars? And which brands of products do you buy to repair the cars that come into your shop? Number 2 is your hobbies and passions. How much do people with your hobby spend per year? Such as meditation, which is very low money, or gaming, which is higher money. How big of a hobby is this? The number of people also doing this. Is it popular with lots of money there, or niche with less of an opportunity? Why do you choose the items you use? Is it the price, quality, convenience, and so on? So for example, we'll go into gaming. What companies are selling the games people buy? What computers and graphics cards are you buying? And how much are people spending in microtransactions inside the games they already purchased? Third is your purchases or services that you use regularly. What's something you can't imagine living without? And why is it so important to you? Why is this company the one you chose over others? Was it the price, quality, convenience, exclusivity, and so on? Do you constantly give that company lots of money? Large monthly payments or one payment that lasts for years? For example, with this, we'll go into Amazon. Why do you keep using Amazon services? What would it take to make you use other online selling platforms? What would make Amazon's shopping experience better? At this point, you might be saying, so I found an amazing product or service. Do I buy it now? Well, that'll be explained in much greater detail in part 2 of the series. Part 1 is just going over general advice from Peter Lynch.